Houston Texans, Houston Rockets, Houston Dynamo, Houston everything, Houston born and raised, H-Town ran with Space Cadet Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, folks of all stripes, and distinguished guests, put your hands together for the Space Cadet Sports Podcast. Houston, we have Paul Salazar Jr.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Space Cadet Sports Podcast, your Houston sports podcast for die-hard Houston sports fans from a die-hard Houston sports fan. I'm Paul Salazar Jr., your favorite die-hard Astros fan podcaster. I am an actor, improviser, writer, creative multi-hyphenate, and of course, the one I'm the most proud of. I'm a proud Houston native, and I have the receipts to prove it. I'm still tipping on for fours to this day. I've spent the last decade or so as a comedy writer in Los Angeles, and now, well, I'm podcasting. That's what happens once you hit 10 years out here. You wake up one day realizing you have to moisturize because you live in a desert surrounded by the most beautiful people in this country. And you start podcasting. You can't feel too bad about it. Steve Buscemi's even doing it nowadays. Welcome to said podcast. My podcast, not Steve Buscemi's. This is Space Cadet Sports. It started as a passion project because most media is infuriating as a die-hard long-term fan of the Houston Astros. Here, we aren't doom and gloom, casual Astros fans or worse, the national media haters. We love our team and root them on, but also try to discuss the ins and outs of our teams without too much homerism. Keyword here is try. Welcome returning listeners and welcome new listeners to what my brother calls the Paul Broadpod Ball Blog. Hey brother, shout out Arrested Development fans. Check out spacecadetsports.substack.com for the full blog experience or the full blog experience depending on your interpretation of my pronunciation there. We're recording this transmission here in sunny Los Angeles. It's a little overcast today, I'm not gonna lie. Why I can't just read blindly off of a script here. I'm joined as always by my co-host and co-producer, the Roz to my Frasier. Carla the dog is here with me. Long-time listeners of the podcast here know that she may get on mic from time to time. She's got the hot takes on this podcast. That's right. Also, long-term listeners might know it's time to give a huge g'day mates to the Australian listeners out there. That's right. We are trying to skyrocket up those Australian podcast charts. We want to be famous, of course. But, we got to be realistic. So we'll be Australian famous first. Today on the podcast, it is opening day. Welcome to Space Cadet Sports on your opening day for your Houston Astros here, folks. I am scrambling to get the right script up here. That is also a tradition here on the podcast. I'll start off thinking I'm in my right script, and then I realize quickly that I'm talking about something from a week ago. That's how we like to do it here. That's what happens when you have a dog help you produce your podcast. She's glaring at me. It's my mistake. Why am I trying to pass the blame over to her? We're very excited to talk about your Houston Astros as they beat the New York Mets on the first game of the season, 3-1 here. It was a bit of a close one. For those of you who were watching, it was more tense than it should have been in that 8th and 9th inning. Let's get to it. We might as well start off talking about the pitching, seeing that's where I went first. Let's talk about your Houston Astros pitching performances here. The Mets got framboozled by La Grasa. The franchise himself, the drip god himself, had a great day. He is our ace. He definitely had a couple of walks. In 7 innings, he gave up 4 hits, 2 walks, but he gave up 0 earned runs and 0 runs there, pitching a shutout through 7 innings, I should say, and picking up 4 strikeouts along the way, obviously not giving up a homer and keeping a clean 0 ERA going into the season, and he picks up the win. Framber looked good. Now, he didn't look perfect, but he looked good. And that's what we're looking for from Framber. We're looking for that if he gives up a couple of walks, if he gives up a couple of hits, if he's not getting his calls, he's able to bounce back and have a good game where he gets a quality start. We look for quality starts from our ace, and Framber Valdez is willing to give quality starts to your Houston Astros, so it was good to see another one picked up from him here. We're just going to keep talking about our pitching on the pitching side right now. In the 8th inning, Brian Abreu pitched 1 inning there. He gave up 3 walks, and he did get a hold, but my goodness, it was intense. On the page, it looks much worse than it felt. There were some pitches right on the edge. There were some pitches that you felt really were going to go Abreu's way. He walked off the mound a couple of times, and you couldn't really blame him, at least as an Astros fan. You thought the pitch was close enough that he might have caught the call. But, you also really can't blame the umpire for calling it a ball either. That was not very fun to see Abreu kind of struggle a bit with the location there, or at least finding the umpire's zone. But he got out of the 8th inning, and then we went into the 9th inning with Josh Hader. Josh Hader pitched an inning, and he got a save. Josh Hader's 200th save of his career. However, Hader did give up 2 hits and a run, and he also gave up a walk while picking up 2 strikeouts. So it was a bit touch and go for Hader there, as he did give up a run. For those of you who follow me on Blue Sky, I skeeted on Blue Sky part of the game. I was doing a lot during the game. I can't always do live reactions, but if that's something you're interested in, you could definitely let me know, and I'll try to do that a little bit more when I have the time. But Hader in the 9th, he loaded the bases, gives up a sac fly, and to end the game had to face Juan Soto with the game on the line, tying runs on the bases and 2 outs. And he got the strikeout for the Astros to win 3-1. So, kind of a little bit of like last season so far, when at least after their tough start, the Astros starting pitching did good. Sometimes would struggle with some bullpen action here. But the Astros did end up winning the game on the offensive side of the ball. It was also, some things that we've known from the Astros, both good and bad. They definitely passed the baton. They picked up 7 hits as a team, getting 3 runs off of 2 RBIs, one of those runs coming off of an error. They picked up 5 walks. However, they did strike out a lot, which was something that I was worried about going into this season. For those of you who have been following along during spring training, they did get 7 strikeouts, so we're looking for that number, obviously, to dip. 3 of those strikeouts coming from Jose Altuve, 2 of those coming from Brendan Rodgers, who started at second base. Look, my starting projection, my starters for your Houston Astros, your opening day Houston Astros were correct. I called them all right. If you want to go back and check the receipts, you're more than welcome to go back and listen to old podcasts. But, I was very happy that I was able to read the tea leaves there for the you fans out there in podcast land. I didn't steer you too wrong. I always say, for those of you who are new, I'm a fan. I'm a nerd. I watch all of the games. I listen to all of the podcasts. Well, I try to listen to all of them. I try to read all of the blogs. I overwhelm myself with the Astros information, and like some kind of crow that loves you, I just kind of bring you trinkets of information. I just drop little nuggets that I find fun or informational on y'all. I'm not going to sit here and act like a scout or act like a journalist when really I'm kind of a comedian and a nerd. So that's I'm coming from that fan angle, but still, a broken clock can be right twice a day. I'm very proud that I kind of got that right. There are plenty of other things I have been getting wrong, though. That's not for today. Today we're being positive. We're excited about the Astros win. We're talking about the good things here. So, we can move on from the strikes for a bit. We're talking about 5 walks. Isaac Paredes looked good with, having some good vision there. Yordan Alvarez picked up 2 walks there as well. Yainer Diaz got a walk. It's good to see him be patient. Really, another big plus here for us is Jake the Rake Myers. He was 2 for 4 in this game, picking up an RBI. Jake had a good start to his season so far. We're hoping for big things from Jake Myers, but we don't expect him to be a home run hitter, a big slugger or anything, but we want to see that bat contribute because honestly, we need a center fielder like Jake Myers if we're going to start Jose Altuve and Cam Smith in the outfield. We love both of those guys here at the podcast, but they're both learning the outfield right now, and we need them to succeed. We need them to have confidence. So you need a strong defensive center fielder like Jake Myers to be out there with those 2 gentlemen. So for that purpose, we need Jake to contribute. Now, like I said, we don't have crazy expectations. We want to have realistic expectations to what Jake can produce. But it's good to see him have a great game here, pick up an RBI in a big spot, and help the Astros win. On a bit of a negative side for your Houston Astros, something that we're not too excited about. Something, while we said good and bad that we've seen from the Astros before, the good being that they are able to pass a baton, picking up hits, getting some walks, getting timely hits. However, they did the thing they did last season a lot, which is not hit very well and with runners in scoring position. At the beginning of the season, your Houston Astros started slow. They really struggled with getting hits with runners in scoring position. That got better as time went on, but it kind of really haunted their season. Today, they were 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position, and they left 9 on base. However, they did win the game. In a side note as well, Chas McCormick, the Tasmanian Devil, we're rooting him on here. He might not be our starting right fielder, at least our opening day starting right fielder, but this guy is going to be needed this season, and if we run into some issues where we need some slugging from our outfielders, he could be a guy that we turn to. He is able to run into some hits, into some really good hits and home runs sometimes. We're hoping for that from Chas McCormick, even if he is kind of transitioning to more of a platoon situation. He came into this game and he got a sacrifice bunt. Sometimes you just need to get the ball rolling. You want to get the season started with some good momentum. I was excited about that. I think that's a good sign. I think we're really going to want to see guys like Chas McCormick, Victor Carantini, and Mauricio Dubon, Zach DeCenzo really step up big off the bench. And that is a great bench. I feel really good about that bench going into the season. However, that would mean that guys like Myers and Rogers and Smith, that the bottom 3 of that Astros lineup, really need to be consistent. And that also would mean that the new additions, Paredes and Walker, need to be healthy and be the players they are billed as. And, we will need that consistency from your Altuve and Yordan, your foundational hitters, obviously you need young players like Yainer Diaz and Jeremy Pena to play to their potential, so those are a lot of dominoes that need to fall. Obviously, these Houston Astros are not the power lineups that we've seen in the past, but this lineup looks good. Today they were able to produce, and they didn't even have to dip into the bench too much. We got definitely some touch and go pitching situations towards the end there. Framber had some moments, but overall this team looked good. We're going to take a quick break, folks. We'll be right back to talk about some more Houston Astros opening day takes, news, stuff like that. And we'll even get to some memes and the Space Cadet Top 10 after this break.
Houston Astros, Houston Texans, Houston Rockets, Houston Dynamo, Houston everything. Houston, born and raised, H-Town Rebel, Space Cadet Sports.
Welcome back, folks. I took a sip of coffee. I am ready here to talk some more Houston Astros opening day news. It was good to see Cam Smith out there in right field. Cam Smith, he was 1 for 3 today. He got his first hit of his career off the first pitch he saw, and off of Clay Holmes, and honestly, it was that moment that it was like maybe everything is going to be just okay. Even friends of mine that have been a little critical or a little worried maybe about the Houston Astros, not very critical, worried, I would say is a fair word. They were texting me saying that they were very happy, and now, they're changing their tune. Now they're very excited about the Houston Astros. I feel like Cam Smith kind of putting us at ease, getting a hit. He definitely had a play where, he didn't quite get to a ball, but he was really hustling out there. He looked fine in right field. There was not a huge moment where there was a huge cause for alarm. And mentioning Cam Smith and his defense in right field, we're not trying to shine a light on him, but it's just more of he's only played a handful of games in the minor leagues. He was playing college ball, last year. This is not his natural position, so we want Cam Smith to succeed. So we're watching his defense carefully to see how he's adjusting to this new position. And today, it filled me with confidence. He did not look out of place out there. He didn't look nervous or scared. He looks like he's built for this. The slogan for your Houston Astros, their mantra going into the season, built for this. Not only does this team look like it's built for this challenge to continue the Houston Astros golden era, to keep the World Series contention window open, to win the AL West, and to continue going to ALCSs. It just doesn't look like the Astros are up for that challenge. It looks like Cam Smith is built for this. This offseason, I have been concerned for Mr. Smith. Not saying that he doesn't look like a great player, but just saying that this is a very tough position for a young 22-year-old baseball player to be in. You haven't played AAA ball. You're traded to a new team. There's a lot of expectation on you. You're an opening day starter in a new position that you're unfamiliar with. That is a lot. And while that might be something that I might shy away from or puts fear into my cleats, it doesn't look like Cam Smith is that worried. And that fills me with confidence. He looks the part. He looks like he could be him. So we're rooting for him, and we're hoping to see we're hoping that he doesn't have to take too many hard lessons out there in the outfield. We're hoping that he could learn over time and not lose that confidence. Like I said, we're watching that defense not to be haters, but to just keep an eye on him and to monitor that progress and root him on the best we can. Speaking of rooting on outfielders, learning their position, on the other side of the coin, we have Jose Altuve, a veteran infielder, a Gold Glove infielder, a future Hall of Famer, also learning the outfield. He's learning left field on the other side of Jake Myers in this game. Jose Altuve was able to make some plays out there, fairly routine plays, that just, I feel like, also fill us with confidence. There was a line drive, there was a bit of there was a fly ball that he kind of cut off Jake Myers to get to. There was a pop fly that was kind of in no man's land. Jeremy Pena called for it, but Jose Altuve called him off. There wasn't too many communication errors out there when there could have been ones. It didn't seem like Jose Altuve was unsure of what to do when the ball was hit to him. So far, so good. I've been on record saying that Jose Altuve is going to be fine in left field. And maybe that's something that doesn't fill you with confidence, but I think that's great. I think fine is going to be fine for the Houston Astros in left field at Daikin Park in that specific situation. However, it is yet to be seen how he plays left field when he's going to get a lot more room out there to roam. We will have to see how he grows as a left fielder. However, I do think that when the Astros are away, he's most likely going to play second base, or he's going to fill in for a DH when he can. So I don't think that they'll be putting him in that situation unless he is truly ready for it. So for that purpose and for that reason, I think he's going to be fine. There might be some throws where he kind of doesn't have the arm strength for. There might be some routes that he has to learn the hard way on how to get something. There's going to be some issues here and there, but I don't think it's going to be something that's so debilitating that we have to worry. What are we going to do with Jose Altuve? It's not like he's completely fallen off a cliff or anything. It's that the team has so much confidence in this player that they're willing to put him in the situation. It's the same thing with Cam Smith. Is it something that I think that I would want to be my first option as a front office executive with the Houston Astros? Not exactly, but the fact that these executives, the fact that this team has so much confidence in Cam Smith, they have so much confidence in Jose Altuve, I feel like I have to have some confidence in them too. This is not a rebuilding team. This is not a team desperate for ticket sales. This is a team trying to win. And if they truly think their best bet to win is to keep the roster flexible by having Jose Altuve play left field, second base, and DH, if they think their best option to win is to have Cam Smith learn right field because he is ready, then I kind of have to take them at their word and believe them right now. Cam Smith is not the only young player this season to be boosted up to the majors with very minimal time in the pros. They're in the Angels. I'm trying to say. I was trying to remember what their team name was. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. They have a rookie pitcher, Tyler Johnson, I believe. I don't have his name up in front of me. I was watching him in a spring training game, the Angels and the Dodgers play, and I saw him strike out Shohei Ohtani, given in the spring training game. But this kid looks great. There can be some people that are phenomenal talents that can make that jump. Just because we are all, some of us who are a little more conservative, like me, we're a little more nervous to see Cam Smith in right field because we want him to succeed, doesn't mean that he can't do it. The Astros are a fairly conservative organization. Dana Brown, our general manager, might be a little bit more aggressive than the organization used to be when it comes to calling up prospects. But he also has a lot of success behind him. So I am going to defer to the Astros and Dana Brown here until we see more evidence. I think that they know what they're doing, and they feel like this is their best chance to win. And they won this game, and the only reason we were a little nervous about it at a point was because of the back-end bullpen. And, truly, the back end of our bullpen is supposed to be our strength. They have made us nervous a lot last season, but they were able to figure it out as the season went on. Today was a little touch and go, but they got the W. They got the win. We are looking to see how they rebound from this tough outing. Relief pitching is really tough. You have a small sample size. There's not a lot of chance. There's a lot of room for error, is what I'm trying to say. And really, it can kind of turn on a dime, and the perception of your job can really change very quickly. So we're hoping that we could see these players bounce back and solidify their performance like they did last season, only this time a little quicker. So we'll keep an eye on that. Folks, once again, the next couple days we are going to be playing the New York Mets, your Houston Astros, I should say. All of us, we're going to get together, we'll play them. Sure, one day. But I mean your Houston Astros will play the New York Mets. They're playing them tomorrow. Tyler McGill will face off against Hunter Brown. And they are also playing them on Saturday. That's going to be a familiar face, Griffin Canning, facing off against the Houston Astros, Spencer Arrighetti. It is spaghetti time. And folks, before we sign off for this podcast today, I just want to let you know we will hit you up with some Rockets news, some Texans news, and even some Dynamo and Dash news on a later podcast in the next couple of days. Today is just your Houston Astros, but we won't forget our other Houston teams. Don't worry. This is just a quick reaction podcast. I have to take Carla out in a bit. There's lots of things that I have to do today. I was making memes. I was doing posts. So please check those out. Check out the Substack at spacecadetsports.substack.com. We have a post up there on the Substack that I'm going to read to you right now before we sign off on the podcast. And this is the top 10 things to expect from the Astros this season. That's right. We're getting into top 10 lists this season. We're going to do a lot of things. I wanted this to be a video podcast. I'm not going to lie, fam. But like I said, I was making posts. I was making memes. I have my everyday life to deal with as well. This isn't, you don't make a huge salary off of podcasting as much as you probably believe I do. You probably think I'm a very rich man from this, but I am a small podcast, so this is a passion project. I have a lot of things to do, so I didn't have time to make today a video podcast, but we will have some more fun video podcasts in the future. But I was going to do an homage to David Letterman in this video podcast where I did a top 10 list, because we're bringing top 10 lists to the podcast this season. Soon I'll be ripping off David Letterman even further with films by my dog, but we are excited to see what the Astros are going to bring this season. The top 10 things to expect from the Astros this season, we're going to run them down, starting with number 10 here, folks. Number 10, horchachos, muchachos. That's right. We have horchachos in Dyken Park. You're going to have to eat them and let me know what you think. Number 9, the train will be replaced by high-speed rail. You guys were worried about what's going into the back of the train. I have a feeling they're going to do a technological upgrade in the middle of the night. Keep your eyes peeled for that. Number 8, Yordan Alvarez will hit a ball so hard it will combust. I'm surprised this honestly hasn't happened already. Number 7, Jim Crane will trade for Justin Verlander for a third time, therefore completing his punch card, and will win a free subscription. Oh, man. And we'll win a free sub sandwich was the punchline. These jokes, they work better when you don't flub the punchline. I'm going to make a note of that here. Let me just write that down for the next time. Number 6, not only is it still the golden age of Astros baseball, it's still the golden age of HEB commercials. That's right, folks. Don't worry. We're replacing talent on the field and on camera. We'll still have good HEB commercials. Number 5, Jeremy Pena will steal 20 bases, but countless hearts. And honestly, I think I'm low on those bases as well. Number 4, Jose Altuve won't just adjust to playing left field half the season to provide more flexibility for the team. He'll also sell concessions in between innings. I mean, no one's going to complain about his arm when he's tossing you some peanuts and Cracker Jacks, that's for sure. Number 3, robo-umps will become sentient, and they'll smartly sign with agent Scott Boras. They're about to get paid, son. Number 2, Orbit will finally get into a fist fight with the Philly Fanatic. It's a long time coming. That beef is deep. That beef is actually stronger than K-Dot and Drake. And finally, number 1, the number one top thing to expect from the Houston Astros this season, not only will Cam Smith win Rookie of the Year, he'll single-handedly close the retractable roof during a rain delay. That's right, folks. If any of those things happen, you heard it here first. With that being said, folks, that is going to do it for our transmission today. Thank you so much for listening, cadets. Please hit those buttons for me wherever you're listening to this podcast on. Please like, rate, review, subscribe, share, kick it, bop it, skip it, all of those buttons, please hit them for me. It really does go a long way. I joke that we are a small podcast, but we are growing. You know, we're only as strong as our listenership is, so we only go as far as you take us. So if you'd be so kind, hit some buttons for me. If you like it, please hit like. If you want to subscribe because you're listening more regularly, please do that. Please share with another H-Town hustler or perhaps an Australian baseball fan. Reach out on social media at Space Cadet Sports on Instagram and Threads, or at spacecadetsports.bsky.social. We're also on Substack, where you can find all of the content on Substack. That's spacecadetsports.substack.com, where you can put your email into that field and you can get every post, every podcast, every meme dump for free by becoming a subscriber there. So please check that out. Reach out to us. Let us know what you're feeling about this season. Please consider becoming a premium subscriber as well. That will, that can help perhaps get us some equipment to do those video podcasts more quickly. Or you could just donate to the Carla Treat Fund there. Thank you so much for listening. Honestly, I feel the love. Thank you for listening to this podcast and coming and being an Astros fan here with me. We'll definitely get to other Houston sports in the next podcast as well. What an opening day it was. We're very excited, even though our heart rate is just now getting back to its regular state. Remember to be the best that you can be. Keep your head up, kid. And as always, vamos Astros.